Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Gaming and a new video on the channel. Very quick update going through my day one progress on the Reign of Ours Raider. So for those that are unaware, I was on holiday until yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to league start until, well, yesterday. So I'm now 9 to 10 hours into the league, so I thought I'd bring up my day one update, so I'm not going to play much more today. Now luckily for me, the patch had just hit to make the league mechanic more bearable, so I'm not going to talk too much about the league mechanic itself, as I'm sure there's more patches to come. However, it doesn't seem like a mechanic that's going to retain players, as there's few changes to the base game to go alongside with it, and unless you want a new weapon, other than fishing for stuff to sell, I don't really see a need to interact with it at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, this video is about the build. All I've done is followed my own build guide, so it's going to be a very quick update. The only deviation I've made is I am running a Mana Forge support linked to Frenzy, just to generate Frenzy charges without using Blood Rage. Works really well because you get them on bosses as well. I have tried to keep at this stage trading to a minimum, as I want to save all my money to transition to crit. So the video is going to go through the gear, how much it costs, my Atlas progression, and my current Atlas tree. Now in terms of currency, I've had a Magnate drop, which I sold for 70C, and I had a low level Chaos Cluster Jewel drop in Heist that again sold for 70C. I spent around 25 Chaos on gear, and I want to save the rest for transitioning to crit. So in terms of the character, we've got Uber Lab completed. It was actually really easy on a 5-link. I was a bit worried how it would feel, but the build feels really, really nice, comfortable. I've got really, really bad gear. A lot of it is my campaign gear. The rest of it, I haven't paid more than 5C for one item. And it's just progressing along nicely. I'm only in sort of mid-tier yellow map, so nothing too taxing at the moment, and haven't need to progress to a 6-link. So what we'll do first, as I say, is we'll go through all of the gear, and then we'll go through the other aspects of the league start. But overall, again, really enjoyed Reign of Ours Raider. It goes through the campaign like a breeze. I mean, I'm super jet lagged, so it took me a long time to get through the campaign with doing a bit of heist and just picking up a bit of gear. I think I was like 7 to 8 hours to get through the campaign. It was a bit of a slog. Once had a bit of sleep, played for a couple of hours the next morning. Then I felt much better, and I was breezing through maps in sort of 2 to 3 minutes. So I was getting my map completion up really, really quickly. So I thought before we get into it, I might as well run a very quick map showcase. As I say, I'm just into yellow maps at the moment, and we'll go through the Atlas tree in more detail in a minute. But if we look at completion, it's 41 out of 115. Apologies, my keyboard's really, really loud, so you might hear it as we go through the map. I won't clear the whole thing, we'll just beeline to the boss, take some mobs out, take the boss out. And as I say, this is on a non-crit 5-link at the moment. Nothing special, the gear's pretty bad. The bow, as I say, I bought for 5C. Nothing else cost much. I think my belt might have been 10 chaos. The rest of it was all handfuls of chaos. Got lots and lots of evasion, which is nice. We're sort of with Flask up 90-something% chance to evade. So very little fizz mitigation, but in this sort of tier maps, you are going to die every now and again, but it should be fairly infrequently. So I'm leaving essences at the moment because I haven't yet taken all of the nodes that we need. But we're almost there, as you'll see. From the Atlas tree. So we're just going to kill a couple of these mobs here. I haven't done Canyon, but I have it available, so that doesn't help me that much. Drop a portal. There is one more change, actually. I'm using Vile Reign of Ours instead of Vile Haste. It just adds a little bit more DPS on bosses, which is nice. So we'll just kill this boss, and then we will go back to town. So as you can see, with the Vile Reign of Ours, boss goes down super quick. Obviously only a T6 map, but it's one with extra elemental resistances on it. So I'm really happy with the DPS on a 5-link at the moment. Okay, so we'll start by running through the gear very quickly. I'm not going to go through the links, as I say, because everything is as per the build guide, other than I'm running Vile Reign of Arrows instead of Reign of Arrows. And then I've just got this 3-link of Mana Forged, Arrow Support, Frenzy, and Inspiration. Inspiration just to lower the mana cost, because I couldn't work out from this description whether it's mana cost of this here or mana cost of the main skill, so this may not make any difference whatsoever, but I got a free socket, so why not. Excuse me, the cats have been super needy since I've come back from holiday, so that again has caused my progress to be quite slow. So the gear itself is a bow that's about 600 LE DPS, no crit, pretty bad attack speed. So I bought this for 5C because I just needed something to get me through Act 10, because I just didn't have a bow at all that I could use. And then this will do me for sort of late tier yellow, early tier red maps fairly comfortably. Helmet I picked up in the campaign, life and resistances. The quiver I bought for 5 chaos. So it's damage, prod speed, flat damage and life, which is nice. The amulet, again, I think this was 8 chaos. This is just attributes, life and damage. I bought this because it'll also work for the crit transition because it's got crit multi, so I don't have to replace it when we change to crit. The rings are both just found in the campaign. They're not particularly good. So this one's got some resistances and LE damage. This one's got, again, just resistances and life. The gloves, again, I've just ID'd off the ground. The belt cost me 10C. It's the only item that cost me double figures. And it's because it's got really, really big resistances and life on it. And then we've got the 3-step assault boots because we've done Uber Lab. Sorry, my cat's rubbing against the microphone. And this was just to make sure that I'm ailment immune when I got the Uber Lab done. So we've now got really, really nice defenses. And then we've just got a 5-link that I had drop in Heist. It's not ideal. We don't really want evasion energy shield, but it's free, so I don't need to spend money on any items. And then we've just got, yeah, Quicksilver, Granite, Jade Flask, and then for the moment, Sulfur Flask, and we'll put in a Diamond Flask when we go crit. I do have a jewel slotted in, but it's absolutely rubbish. It's just the only jewel I had, and I'd taken a jewel socket. It gives us 5% attack speed, some strength, and some fire damage, which you do very little of. So obviously that's a placeholder for something like a Lethal Pride. In terms of my currency, I did a tiny bit of Heist. I maybe got like 15 to 20 chaos in Heist. And then we had the 2 items that I sold for 70C and picked up a few more chaos along the way. So we're doing okay for currency at the moment, and I don't really need any at the moment. Then if we go to the Atlas tree, this is not an optimal tree. I kind of made this up as I went along because I wanted to use these gateways here, but really you don't need to. I think it's probably quicker if I just go straight up here since I'm going to go and get these essences. But the idea was beeline for Expedition, take Stream of Consciousness, then Cryptic Gateway over here, pick up Shape in the Mountains, up to Crystal Resonance, then Amplified Energies, then Prolific Essence, then we're ready to farm essences. Then I'll start filling out some map nodes, and then I'll need to see if I can path better because this looks pretty bad. If anyone's following the Atlas guide that I bought out before the league start, which is like a beginner essence and expedition tree, that still works absolutely fine, and I'd probably recommend it over this mess here. But it's just kind of, I'd already started, and I don't want to waste orbs of unmaking. So this is a tree. So at the moment, I've done a tiny bit of expedition, but I keep finding Gwenin. So I've had a few nice bits of chaos orbs from Tusion. I've had a logbook drop, which was Tusion, so that again got me some currency. Not done any rod crafting yet, but that's something I'll hopefully do once my level gets up a little bit. Now, I have had a few deaths, mainly from the league mechanic where I keep fully juicing it. So I've died 4 times, and that was every single one. It was in Crucible, where I've just literally held channel. So we'll very quickly just go over the character level details, and then we'll sign off the video. I'm hoping to transition to crit on day 2. If I get chance to Tornado Shot as well, but I am working now, so I've only got like 3 to 4 hours a day max that I can play. So the next video is probably just going to be a crit transition. And then I'm going to try and get to a Tornado Shot as quickly as possible, do some hard farming, so I can bring out a more end game version for people that are, well, miles ahead of me. So the character's level 82. If I have a look at defenses, we're spell suppression capped, ailment immune, just normal res cap, no chaos res whatsoever at the moment. Evasion of 83% without flask, but we get a little bit of evasion per frenzy charge. And then I've got 91% when my flasks are up. So when I'm mapping, I feel super, super safe. Like 3.5k armor is enough to mitigate tiny hits with sort of 3.6k life in lower tier maps unless I run bad mods. Nothing should really one-shot me at all other than Crucible monsters. The last thing I wanted to point out, I'm going to put the POV in the video description for where the character is at the moment. Ignore the gem links. I'm just working with what I've got. Ellie Focus is not an ideal gem. Because I've got an Evasion Energy Shield chest, 2 blue, 2 green, 1 red, I settled with. So my 5 link at the moment is Inspiration, Trinity, Mirage Archer, Rain of Arrows, and Ellie Focus. I would rather this was Ellie damage with attacks. That's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and see you shortly.